Hello, and welcome. My name is Michelle. I'm your emotional resilience coach. It is fantastic to have you join me here today. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a really quick exercise that is very difficult, very uncomfortable, but very, very revealing for us to do. You get to choose how you want to do this. You can either write it down or you can have a dialogue. I'd like you, if you're going to do it in a dialogue, to actually speak it out and hear it. It's really good that we engage our senses. Writing it down is really amazing. We're engaging our senses, and then reading it is really amazing. Hearing it is really amazing. Just try and engage as many senses as you possibly can. And what this means is we're going to step into the other person's shoes. This can be difficult. This can be really, really tricky because we have our own lenses, our own ways of seeing things, our own viewpoints. We get very, very stuck in our own patterns. Our brains believe that our patterns are right, okay? It's allowed us to survive thus far, and so it sticks to it. It's like, hey, this works, it's always worked, always will work. Why do we want to kind of change the equation here? But obviously, our brain is not always right. Our brain just knows how to survive. It doesn't necessarily sit to differentiate what is right, what is wrong. It just knows what equals survival, and it takes our past experiences. I've discussed this many, many times before, that our viewpoints, our thoughts, the way we see things, there's always a little bit of error in there. It's always going to be a little bit tainted with heartaches, pains, opinions, upbringing, culture, all these things influence it. What I want you to do is I want you to argue the issue, but from the other person's point of view, right? Maybe you've heard it time and time again and you know it well. Or just write down little pinpoints of what you do know, what they have said, things that have maybe made a little bit of a with you, maybe pushed a little button, or there's been a little bit of a tweak, or there's been a whatever. Just kind of get an idea of what their argument is, what it is that they are saying. Please don't take anything that is defamatory about you. No name calling, no character assassinations, none of that. This is, we want to try and stick as factual as we possibly can. It can be something as simple as, I really don't like the way you make pancakes, to I really don't like that you don't answer your phone when you're out, or you go for hours on end, you don't tell me where you are. These sort of things, right? Nothing character assassinating, nothing like you are mean, you are horrible, you are selfish, you are none of that. You want to try and keep to the facts as closely as possible. And then you're going to argue from their point of view. Really try and spend a good couple of minutes with whatever the issue may be and see it from their point of view, and really just get into that role and play that role and say the things, I'm really upset that you don't let me know when you're going to be home, or you just leave without a note, or don't make pancakes like that. That's not pancakes, those are crepes, or whatever it is. It can be really small and irritating and niggly to really, really big issues. Or it could be things like, you always complain that you're tired, but you don't go to bed early enough. You are always moaning about your friends, but you are with them all the time anyway. You don't have boundaries. Whatever that issue might be, right? Maybe you don't feel heard. You don't listen to me. I try and explain to you. Whatever it is, you will know what it is. And I want you to just practice this dialogue from their point of view and really get into that role and really just see. What this helps is this allows us to see and acknowledge where maybe we are wrong, where we are at fault, where we could improve, where we could maybe do better, what we can work on. It really helps us to just gain that better perspective and allows us to see things that often we don't see within ourselves. And again, it's not because we're trying to be selfish, or we're trying to be self-centered, or we're trying to be difficult. Our brains just haven't picked up on it yet. It hasn't seen it as being necessary to our survival. And so it's kind of skimmed past it as not being necessary to take note of. But maybe this is something that we need to be aware of, and we can take it, we can look at it, and we can see how we can improve to make our relationships better. Not just with others, but obviously most importantly with ourselves. And then when you've done that, just close it off again from your point of view, your perspective, where you are, and see now how much of it you are willing to see and acknowledge. Have you been able to soften at all? Have you been able to change at all? Have you had any greater clarity? Have you been able to move forward anymore, where you're no longer just spinning or going around in circles over and over again, and you're able to move forward with a clearer and better perspective. Give it a go. It is something that is great to do. I have done this with my husband where we have been in circles. We have swapped roles where I have come to him and I've said to him from his point of view. And what's really amazing when you do this is a clarity is brought also where maybe you've misunderstood or you misconstrued or you've interpreted it differently. Using the language, you're giving it back to them from their point of view. If it's a safe space and you're both in an open space and an open environment, it's a really great place for feedback where they can say to you, yes, you understand, or they can say to you, no, you're not understanding. And it's also an incredible tool to allow all parties to make progress in feeling heard and understood. It's not a comfortable exercise to do, but it's not supposed to be. Growth doesn't work that way. All right, give it a go and let me know in the comments below how it went and what you thought, or come on over to Instagram and say hey to me there. And please don't forget to grab my book, Who Are You Beneath the Pain? Have you thought about this? Do you know you're amazing? Go on, figure it out and see you have an incredible light within you. All right, let's take a deep breath together. And out, acknowledge, really accept and know and see that you are doing better than you realize. Have a most empowered day.